A bombshell report shows 85 of 154 people who were able to meet with Hillary Clinton while she was the Secretary of State had donated big sums of money to her family charity.
Yet the fact wasn't widely covered, and our next guest hit college campuses to ask students if it were Donald Trump's foundation under fire, Trump University or something other than that, would the media coverage be any different? Listen.
If the roles were reversed and if it was the Trump Foundation and that there were all these kind of shady dealings going on, that everyone would know about it?
I think
absolutely.
If the roles were reversed, they would be making a bigger deal out of, the foundation receiving money than they did the Clinton Foundation. I feel like a lot of that was kind of swept under the rug.
Do you think he kind of has a point that there may be some unfair media coverage?
Yeah, I think he's obviously got a point.
Cabot Phillips is a contributor at campusreform.org, and he joins us now. Cabot, nice to see you this morning.
Good morning.
I think you're right about this, and it seemed like the students didn't disagree with you. If you read the New York Times or front pages of anything, they're constantly talking about Trump's dealings, tax dealings, and casinos and everything else, right?
For all this talk of young people not paying attention to politics, even if they're not fully in tune with things, they know, they can see, they're not stupid. They can pick up on the fact when the media, and the mainstream media especially, is not giving them a fair shakedown of things. And for all the left's talk of privilege, we've got white privilege, male privilege, straight privilege. I think we should have a new one called Hillary privilege, where we talk about the fact that Hillary gets preferential treatment, especially when it comes to the way the media is covering her. And these young people saw that, and they knew if the roles were reversed, it would be a completely different national conversation.
It can be frustrating because I know many of them do feel like they're being told who to vote for. So Donald Trump still struggles to get their vote. What could he do to win them over, especially those that are still undecided at this point?
You touch on a completely true point with young people. With Leadership Institute, I'm always on campuses talking to young people, and they're always saying, we don't like the man telling us who to support, kind of forcing their opinions on us, and that's what's happening here. I think if Donald Trump wants to gain the support of young people, he needs to do what he did this week, and that's talk about policies. Even though the immigration issue was kind of a flip-flop, at least for once, a whole week was spent talking about Donald Trump's position on an important policy.
Do they feel disenfranchised, these students? I mean, after all, most of them Bernie supporters, right? Bernie had the young vote. And are they just saying, look, I'm just not going to vote for Hillary at all. I'm not going to vote for Trump. I'm just going to sleep in that morning in my dorm room.
I think they may feel that way now. It may feel good for them to feel rebellious and say, I'm not going to vote at all. But when it comes down to it, these young people, sure, it's nice to see the banter. They enjoy it. It's entertaining to see all the back and forth. But none of that's going to get them a job. They want to get a job, and they want ultimately to hear about serious policies that are going to help them in their careers. But I think there is a window for Donald Trump to come in if he's going to be serious and put substantive issues forward.
I mean, let me go back to what was a huge week in that piece. The New York Times media critic wrote that journalists who personally opposed Trump had an obligation to throw out the textbook when it came to coverage of him. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's being thrown in their face right now.
Absolutely. And the way that Hillary treats the media, she puts the reporters in pens during her events. She hasn't held a press conference in 266 days. You'd think the media would be upset with her, but no, they turn around and they basically
But who largely are they voting for?
Exactly. They do her job for her, which is just astounding to see the way they treat her.
Cabot Phillips.